So in today's session, we will see what are derived attribute views, and after I complete the derived attribute views, we will see a different example to create for finance master data. To create for the finance master data, we'll see one example on that. So let me start the HANA Studio. So click on Start, click on All Program, click on SAP HANA, and then click on the HANA Studio. So once we click on the HANA Studio, so let's go to the package that we created. Expand the content. So content is a collection of packages, and packages have information views. So ECC July 19 is the package, and let's expand the package. Expand. So here we have created three attribute views. So let us right click on the package, click new, and click on the attribute view. So attribute views are reusable dimensions to join master data tables. Attribute view is also information view. So there are three subtypes in attribute view. One is standard, time, and the third one is derived. So select derived, and let us take an example to create AT underscore ship to party. I'm creating an attribute view with the name ship to party. So usually if you see customers buy the goods, and you see there is a ship to party and there is a bill to party. But customers ship to party, bill to party, or directly or indirectly, they are the customers to the company. So whenever you would like to have an attribute view with a different name, now why should we have an attribute view with a different name is because now whenever we are trying to analyze transaction data, now when we are trying to analyze transaction data, we cannot use the same attribute view twice in the star schema. We would like to have the same meaning but with a different name. Now, for example, like a person having two names. Raju alias Nani. Let's say an example. So Raju is also called as Nani. So whenever you call Nani is the pet name of Raju. So basically we are calling Nani, we are calling Raju. So same person is trying to respond. How a person will have two names, Raju alias Nani. In the same way, an attribute view also has, when you want to have an attribute view with two names, when you want to create an alias of the original attribute view, and the original attribute view can be standard or it can be derived. So how a person can have two names, an attribute view can have two names. So you can copy an attribute view, you can derive an attribute view, which is of type standard, or even you can derive an attribute view which is already derived. Let me take a simple scenario here. Let us try to take a simple scenario before I proceed to create the attribute view. Let's take this example. You have customer whose name is Raju, and Raju is trying to buy some gift in Snapdeal or any other online shopping, and is trying to ship the product to that product to Ram. But when Raju is trying to bill, he's trying to bill on his friend's credit card. The friend is Mac. So Raju, when he's purchasing the gift for Ram, is trying to bill on Mac's credit card, and the gift is shipped to Ram. Now when you would like to analyze, what is my ordered quantity? What is my ordered quantity? Or what's my billed quantity? Now here we have three subject areas. One is the customer subject area, who is the Raju, and the other one you have the bill to subject area, and you have ship to subject area. But directly or indirectly, the even Mac and Ram are also customers. So we are trying to use same data. You're trying to use the same data, but with a different name, which is ship to party. You're trying to use the same attribute view with a different name, which is bill to party. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create an attribute view of type derived, which is ship to party, and then I'm going to reference to the standard attribute view, which is customer. Also, we'll see one more example to copy bill to party from customer. So one we will try to take it as derived, the other one will try to take it as standard. So we'll try to copy customer to bill to party. So first let us start to create the derived one. So I'm creating AT underscore ship to party. This is the label. Subtype is derived. So from where you want to derive? I want to derive from the AT customer. So let's go to the package ECC July 19. Expand the package. And let's go to the subpackage, expand subpackage, expand the package master data, expand the folder attribute view, and select AT underscore customer. Select and click OK, and then click finish. Now you see here AT underscore ship to party, we're trying to derive from AT underscore customer. Because the subtype is derived, it is not standard. So click finish. So how to differentiate whether an attribute view is of type standard or whether it is of type derived? Now how do we differentiate? We can differentiate, you see on the top, there is a pink ribbon. And when I double click on the standard, you see there is a blue ribbon. So there is a light blue ribbon over here, but here you see there's a pink ribbon over here. So whenever you see a pink ribbon, immediately you can make out this is a derived attribute view. When you see the light blue or little whitish, this is a standard attribute view. Now why do we have this difference is because Now for a derived attribute view, we cannot make any changes. Now when I click on the data foundation, now if I would like to select any of the columns, now I'm trying to select, please see, it is disabled. The derived attribute views, we cannot change any properties. Just it is a change of name. So if I right click and if I select and if I try to change any of the join, you please see, we cannot change. And also if you would like to see whether this is a derived attribute view, we can just click on the data foundation and then click on the free space. So when you click on the data foundation and on the free space, so here you see there is a properties. You see all the properties of the attribute view. It shows the technical name, what's the label, what is the package, who did the last change, attribute views execute on what engine, it executes on join engine, who has created what time, what is the version, whether any changes have been made to this attribute view, how many times changes have been made. So what is the client that represents the data, whether it has any security to restrict data. So you have all these properties that you can see when you click on the data foundation and click on the free space, you see the properties here. So now what I'm trying to show you here is, you see when we have derived as true, we see the derived as true. So it's a derived attribute view. So from where it is trying to derive? From the base attribute view, which is AT underscore customer. So from here it is trying to derive. Now if you make any changes to the base attribute view, if you try to make any changes, now for example, I would like to change from an inner join, from a text join to an inner join. If you try to change in the base attribute view, automatically the changes will be reflected in the derived attribute view. So whenever a base attribute view is changed, where derived is referencing, when you change the property, all the other attribute views will change automatically. That is the other advantage of derived attribute view. So we cannot do anything just to have the name change. Click save and validate. We cannot change anything, just to derive, save and validate, and click on save and activate. Now if you want to check whether this is activated or not, let's click on the job log. Activation completed successfully. Let's select and drag to the right. Right click on AT underscore ship to party, click data preview, and click raw data. This is the output of the ship to party, which is referencing from customer. The next question is, what is the difference between derived attribute view and copy? Now when you right click on the attribute view, click new. Here you have two options. One is the subtype is derived. You're trying to derive from the base attribute view. And the other one is copy from. Select this. So when you copy from, there is no option to select subtype. So let's give a name, AT underscore bill to party. So I'm creating the bill to party attribute view. This is a technical name. Let me copy this. And this is the description. So from where you would like to copy, I would like to copy from AT underscore customer. So click browse. Let's go to the package, ECC July 19. Let's go to this package, expand the package, expand subpackage, expand the master data, expand the attribute views folder, and select AT underscore customer and click OK. Now we are trying to copy and click finish. So we copied customer to AT underscore bill to party. Select the data foundation. Now click on the free space. Again, let us see the properties here. Now derived is false and there is no base attribute view. So it is actually, this is an independent view. It is not depending on the AT underscore customer. Because it's not derived, we just take a copy. Just like a template. So derived is like a reference. Derived is like a reference and copy is like a template. So can we change properties when you copy? Yes. So let us select a few other columns. Let me select name 1, name 2. And I'm trying to change the properties of the view. So instead of text join over here, I will change this to inner join. Let's select inner join. So I selected inner join and right click on SP RAS SPRAS, which is the language column. Right click, click apply filters. So what is this apply filter? These are nothing but design time filters. These are called as design time filters. Design time filters are those filters which executes before a join condition. So you're trying to apply before the condition of the join is applied. So you're trying to directly filter values in the table. So click on apply filter. And here the operator, which is equal to, I'm taking equal. And the value here, you can specify the value English. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to take inner join, which gets common values between both these tables like KNA1 and T005T. And we're trying to restrict only to the language English. So I'm restricting to language English. Click OK. And click save and validate. So I've taken this as inner join. So I'm just trying to show you we can copy and we can change the properties. What are the properties you want to change? You can change. Click save and validate and click save and activate. Click restore. Let's see the job log completed successfully. This is to check whether we have any errors or any other warnings we have. Always you can click on restore to check the details. And finally, click on data preview. Now you see here, when we click on the data preview, you see there are descriptions. When you click on the raw data, you see the land description is English, and even the BJDI column is in English. So both these have English. But when you see bill to party attribute view, The join type here is an inner join, and the other join that you see is a text join. Now you see the text join and the inner join with the static filter both produce the same result. Both produce the same result, having the descriptions in English. The reason because when you right click on the system, click properties, click on the additional properties. Now you see the local A or the HANA user is basically logging in English. Is basically log in English. Now if I change this text to a different language, let me select Chinese. Let me click apply and click OK. So when you change this to a different language, now let us see the result. So what has happened now? So for one column, it's going to show in Chinese, but for the other column, it is going to show in English. Because you see here, this pass will not derive the language from the user session because we created a static filter over here. We created a design time filter, edit filter. So it will only show English, but the other join, which is a text join, which can dynamically change language based on the user session. If you check the data preview for this now, when you right click on the attribute view and click data preview, now when we click on raw data, now you see previously in this result, now you see there are two tabs over here. Now this is the latest one and this is the previous one. Now this is before I change the user logon to Chinese. So both in this case are showing in English. But when you click on the other tab, now you see the BJDI is in Chinese and this one is in English. So inner join we have taken as a static filter. So it is ignoring the user login session because it's not a text join. But because this is a text join, it dynamically can change the language. So that is one point I would like to explain. Now, if you also require inner join to change dynamically. Now, how a text join does this, which can change dynamically based on user session. Now, if you also want to change you can double click on the attribute view. If you also want to change Landex descriptions, double click on the attribute view. Right click on the design time filter. Click edit filter. Instead of language English, just delete it and then select and then type in $, language $. When you type in $, language $, and click OK, So this is a system variable. Like click edit. Language $, is a system variable. So when you give the standard system variable and click OK. So when do we go for these kind of scenarios is especially for non-SAP. In non-SAP, you see, like SAP tables, it doesn't have spas. Now, even with an inner join, you can achieve the text join functionality. Even with an inner join, we can achieve text join functionality. You can have a different language column, so you can create using a system variable. You can specify. Now let me save and validate, save and activate. Right click on the attribute view, click data preview, click on raw data. Now in this case, you see, please check both are Chinese. So in the first example, when one is a text join, the other one is an inner join with the static filter English, but the user session at that particular point of time was English. So both descriptions are shown in English. Now in the second case, I've changed the user session language to Chinese. So when we change to Chinese, now this language is Chinese, but this one still remains English because we've taken the static filter on SPRAS, which is a design time filter. Now this is the second case. Now coming to the third case. In case number 3, we have taken inner join with system variable $language $, and still the user session is Chinese. So inner join with $language $, achieve the same functionality of text join. But this is in a case when you have a non-SAP, because text join can only work for SAP tables, it cannot work for non-SAP. But still you want to achieve the functionality of text join for non-SAP, then you can take inner join with $language $. So both are same. So these kind of scenarios, we do it for non-SAP, and these scenarios for SAP when you have text tables, and whenever you specify the text join, we need to take SPRAS, otherwise it doesn't work. But for a non-SAP, obviously we'll not have SPRAS in the tables. So in that case, now you see when you take an inner join, it's not necessary that we need to specify. Is here? It's not mandatory. We need to specify SPRAS over here. You see, I did not specify SPRAS, but still it can dynamically change. So when I started this session, was just trying to show you how to create a derived attribute view. Derived attribute views are just like alias, where the view has a different name. And we also try to see copy. Copy is like a template where you can change. And then we try to see the difference between the text join, and inner join with static filter, inner join. You can take system variables. So this is to just show you can copy and you can change the properties. But let us come one step back and see, if we change the standard attribute view, will the derived attribute views which are referring to standard will change? Let us see that. Let's go back to the AT_customer attribute view. Let's double click on this view. And let me, now here I'm right clicking on land 1. I'm creating a design time filter on land 1. I would like to filter saying that please show me customers who belong to only US region or US country. Please show me customers who belongs to US. So I'm creating a design time filter on land 1. Right click, apply filter. Click on values. And then let's select US. select US, value, click OK, and finally click OK. So here we have created a design time filter on US. So filter equal to US. So what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to change the standard attribute view. So when we change the standard attribute view, also the derived should be changing. I'm trying to show you that. So let's click on save and validate and click save and activate. And now let's go back to customer attribute view, right click data preview. Now you can click on the distinct values. When you click on distinct values, select land one. So how many distinct values we can see for US? 3,853 rows where customers belong to US are available in this view. Now why it is only showing for US? Now because we have created a design time filter. Double click on the view because we have created a design time filter over here. Now if I remove the filter, right click and remove filter, click save and validate and click save and activate. If I remove the filter, right click on AT underscore customer, click data preview and click on distinct values, click on land one. Now you see there are different values over here like US, DE. So you see there are different values. Now here is the count. So because there is no filter over here. So let me double click on the attribute view. Right click on the land one. Let me again apply filter. Distinct, click on value, select US. OK and OK. Click save and validate and save and activate. So now I'm trying to change the standard attribute view. We're trying to change the standard attribute view. So let us, if you want to close all the tabs, let's say there are multiple tabs which are opened over here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you want to close all the tabs, just select close all, and double click on ship to party. Ship to party is deriving from customer. So let us double click on ship to party. So let us see now for ship to party, does this filter exist or not? Now this is a derived attribute view. Click on the data foundation. Click on the data foundation. Now you see there's a filter here. But for copy, let us see for copy. Let us double click on bill to party. And let's see whether you have this filter or not. Obviously will not have. Click on the data foundation. Now you see for bill to party, this filter will not be there because this is not derived. We taken as a copy, but ship to party is derived. It derives all the properties from AT underscore customer. So that's where whenever you change the standard attribute view, the derived attribute views which are referencing will also automatically change. So derived attribute views are reference, whereas when you copy, it is a template. And whenever you want to have the descriptions change based on the user session for non-SAP, you can take system variable $language $. So these are the two important points. So the next thing is we're going to see one scenario based on the finance master data. So we'll start a project now. Let us start one project. The name of the project is Controlling Profitability Analysis. So let's say we are asked to design an application for controlling profitability analysis. Now, what is a profitability analysis? A profitability analysis makes us to analyze company's data, whether we are doing well in business or we are not doing well. We need to identify what is the wastage or what are the expenses. So whenever you have more expenses, whenever you have minimum, very minimum margin, and when your business is not doing good, you can pinpoint the reason where actually we're not able to minimize the wastage. So in order to generate these kind of reports, in order to see a clear visibility on our profit and loss, we can generate reports for COPA, which is controlling profitability analysis. So let us take a simple example. Let me try to take a simple example. Now, usually we know the standard business process in SAP. So there is a standard business process in SAP. When you have integration with sales, you have integration with sales and distribution, you have integration with FI, and FI has integration with CO, controlling. And in the controlling, we have PA, which is profitability analysis. In order to know what is our profit and what is our loss, we basically generate reports in PA, which is profitability analysis. Now let us little see details about this. Usually if you see in the sales process, we first orders are created, then delivery, then billing or invoice, so once you generate invoices, we receive money, we get money, which is account receivables, and also we have expenditure. This expenditure may belong to fixed cost or variable costs, which are nothing but we have to pay money for our expenditure, which is account payables. This is account payable. Just I'm trying to give you a brief introduction about this scenario. So customers place orders, we ship products, we raise invoices, we make money, we also have expenditure to pay, that is account payables. So whenever you have high account payables and less account receivables, you have high account payable, you need to give more money than what you receive. Obviously we are in loss. So now this data finally goes to an application which is PA. In controlling you have something called CO, controlling. Under controlling you have in a sub application which is PA, Profitability Analysis. Now, in SAP, especially in SAP, all this integration is already done by the functional consultants. So you have different group of people who does all the configuration. So once the system is integrated, now let's see, the data that belongs to orders is stored in a different table. Data that belongs to deliveries are stored in a different table. Billing stored in a different table. Finance stored in a different table. For COPA stored in a different table. So all the tables that store these different subject areas, like you have sales subject area, you have finance subject area, you have controlling subject area, all the subject areas store data in different tables. For example, orders, the information for order header related data is stored in VBAK. The order item related data is stored in VBAP. And most of the finance data, I'm just talking about the important tables. So BSEG is one of the important table where the finance data is stored. Now coming to COPA tables, controlling profitability analysis, we have tables. So this is our main application now. So we have tables where data is spread across different tables, like starting with CE. So how we have KNA1, how we have MARA, material master data, how we have sales related data. Now if you see, all these tables are standard tables that are provided by SAP. But for COPA, these tables are not standard, but these are generated tables. So these tables are generated, the COPA tables are generated based on the operating concern or the enterprise structure. So the point I'm trying to make over here is, what the point I'm trying to make is, in SAP, this is the standard process. Like we create orders, deliveries, we make billing, we get money, we pay the expenditure, and finally analyze profitability analysis. And these applications data is stored in or spread across different tables in the backend. So now we are talking about, now what is the difference between tables that store sales related data and the tables that store COPA related data? Now what's the difference in here? The sales related data tables are provided by SAP, and these tables are standard. But the COPA related tables are not standard tables, but these are generated tables. These tables are generated based on the operating concern. Now, what is an operating concern? An operating concern is nothing but the enterprise structure. Now, what is an enterprise structure? Enterprise structure is nothing but how we operate our business. For example, let's take Tata Group of companies. Let us take Tata Group of companies. So Tata has completely business model. I think there is little voice breakage. Is this okay now? So let us take Tata company. Now Tata has a different way it does business. So basically Tata does, so Tata has a different way it does business. Now let's compare to IBM. IBM is a different company. It has its own way that it does its own business. So we cannot compare Tata business model with IBM business model. Because Tata has its own way it can do business. It has Tata consultancy services. It has manufacturing. It has automobiles. So different group of companies that Tata has, and its enterprise structure is quite different how the IBM operates the business. So that is the main reason that SAP did not provide any standard tables for COPA. We cannot provide standard tables for COPA. The reason being, every business has its own way to operate. So based on the business model, these tables are generated. So based on the business model, these tables are generated in the backend. So SAP basically has given these names of the tables as only like CE1, CE2, CE3, and CE4. The tables that belong to COPA are CE1, CE2, CE3, and CE4. And XXXX. So it means that the name of the table is CE1 XXXX, CE2 XXXX, CE3 XXXX, and CE4 XXXX. Where XXXX is nothing but the operating concern, nothing but the enterprise structure. I think I'll stop here for today. In tomorrow's session, what we will do is we'll try to see the enterprise structure, the standard enterprise structure, what SAP provides, and how we can tweak this enterprise structure in the configuration, how we can tweak this, and how these tables are generated, how the entries are posted in these tables, how these tables come into HANA, and what is the importance of each table, what are the changes that have been done by SAP, why we do not require aggregate tables, and how to create analytic views based on this scenario. We'll see in tomorrow's session. So in tomorrow's session, the focus will be on creating the master data for company code once we complete the scenario explanation. And then we're going to create the analytic view later once we complete the creation of company code attribute view. We're going to create the analytic view based on this